Welcome back to ReEducation Camp podcast with Karen O'Toole. And as always, I am joined with the illustrious, the mysterious, the homeowner, Collin Miller, who is joining me on this beautiful day here in Pennsylvania, where I'm so blessed to be in the coal region. And I do have to say, it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful, crisp fall day. And I know that we love to talk about treats, Colin. So I did just want to bring this out here that I got to indulge in a little bit of these pumpkin delights. I don't know if everybody can see that.
A little Debbie snack cake.
A little Debbie. I thought I had sworn off Little Debbie. I really did think that it was over with Little Debbie, but my brother was over. My 16-year-old brother was over this weekend and he had these and I was like, "Holy crap, they are so good." So, if you have sworn off Little Debbie, definitely give her a shot with the pumpkin delights. I call them pumpkin smiles, but the pumpkin delights, little fall treat. And we're going to get into fall a little bit more later because it's full swing.
This is our time of year, isn't it? This
This
is
is the
like
season of the Basic Witch, and we are big fans of Basic Witches. Like, you see these people on Facebook, they have not gone outside in 6 years, but they are one with nature. They practice the dark arts. Their lives are a complete and utter mess, but they're going to share with you some great spells to help you perfect your life.
some
Yes. Yes,
incantations.
they're always empaths. Like, they understand, somehow they are empaths, and they just understand vibes, and they can read people, and they just are always working on spellcraft. But like you said, they're always also broke, and their lives are like, you would never trade lives with them, but they're going
No,
to tell you to manifest, and you're like, your manifesting must really not be working you must be terrible at manifesting, because I sure as hell am not switching lives with you. But season of the Basic Witch is here for all of us that personify as the nightmare before Christmas. Like, if that is your personality, that's your identity, it is your time. It is your time to live. And you know what? I'm all things pumpkin. I can't hate on it. I love this time of year. I decorated yesterday. I also have a little bit of pumpkin coffee, cold foam going on from
love it.
Bucky's. So, I'm a basic witch, I guess. I'm just a little bit, I don't manifest. I'm not into the real witchcraft, but I'm all about the pumpkin. I'm definitely, have you pumpkined yet at all?
I haven't pumpkined yet, but I feel
Okay,
like I have gotten a good start on Basic Witch season
good.
because number one, I finally purchased Hogwarts Legacy. I don't know if you're familiar with
Is this for
Hogwarts
your
Legacy.
Nintendo?
So this is for I have the Xbox One, which
Okay,
is
wow.
the Xbox before the latest Xbox. I don't have the latest one. I think the latest one is the X. I'm not a
Okay,
big gamer really. I like
okay.
very seldom play video games, and when I do play video games, it's usually something on Super Nintendo like Super Mario Brothers or something like that. But I've been wanting to try out this Hogwarts Legacy game because if you are a fan of that world, the world that the evil alt-right white supremacist J.K. Rowling created, which I'm a big fan of her and her world and her novels. I turned on my Xbox randomly the other day. I haven't turned it on in a while, and I got the notification Hogwarts Legacy 70% off. And I wouldn't say that I'm a cheap person, but I'm not going to spend 70 or 80 bucks on a video game. I am going to wait until that thing is on sale for 20 bucks. So I downloaded it. It was like 17.99, and I must say I am very impressed. It looks like a lot of hard work went into crafting this game. It is indeed very immersive. Great soundtrack, great music.
You're literally gonna be arrested, for buying that game within, 2 years in the United Kingdom. Like, in
Yeah,
2 years,
probably.
that will be like a hate crime to even play Hogwarts
Yeah.
Legacy.
Yeah, no, you're probably
Like,
right.
and there's part of me that understands that I know it's being hyperbolic, but honestly, it's not at this point. Like, it might really be, we might come down to that within no time. You'll be you're probably considered a bigot right now. Like there's a lot of people who probably will never talk to
I'm
you again.
absolutely considered a bigot right
Yeah.
now by many, I'm sure. So I downloaded Hogwarts Legacy. I've been playing that,
Mm,
and I watched my first horror movie of the season last night.
nice,
Me and
nice.
me and Shadow the cat snuggled
That
up
is
on the
such a
couch.
basic witch name for a cat too.
It
That
is. And
is,
she's not a
yeah.
black cat either. She's a calico cat. And her colors, she's got a white vest, she's got orange and black. So she's got some Halloween colors. She's sort of I would take her to Hogwarts with me because, as I'm sure you know, Karen, as a student at Hogwarts, you're allowed to bring one magical animal with you. This could be an owl, it could be a toad, or it could be a cat. And I would say the owl's probably the most useful because it can send mail back and forth for you. But I would probably bring a
Shadow.
cat,
Mm.
much like Hermione Granger did in the novel. She brought her cat Crookshanks. So I would bring my cat Shadow with me. But anyway, we we
And for
watched.
full disclosure, for anybody that's listening, wants to know a little bit behind the scenes here, Shadow's actually the producer of the show.
She is.
She is an alt-right cat. She's a
Mhm.
little bit to the extreme. Sometimes we have to like rein her in. She
She's
gets
further
talking
right
a
than I
little
am
bit.
for
Yeah,
sure.
she's definitely down with whoever Tucker Carlson just had on the podcast that said Winston Churchill.
The World War II
Yeah,
guy.
the guy who was saying Winston Churchill was the actual antagonist of World War II. Yeah, so Shadow was trying to explain to me a little bit about it before the show. We probably won't touch on that too much, but if it
Probably
was
not.
up to Shadow, the producer, the alt-right cat, she would completely have us going on about that. But we do want to talk about some news. I know that we really just love the basic witch season. So we had to celebrate because of course last week I took off. I had to go visit Raytheon in Northern Virginia. And really I did pass by Raytheon on my way to a bakery. And I was so excited to pass by all the military contractors. And I was pointing them all out to my husband. I'm like, oh, that's why there's all this money around here, hon. Look at that. Northrop Grumman. There's Raytheon. I'm like, do you know what they make? And he's like, no. I'm like, drones. And so it was a nice little like field trip. But no, I was down there for a wedding. So I was lazy and
The weekly
we
wedding,
did not the
as I
weekly
like to
wedding.
say.
That is
Karen's
my
got a wedding
third
every
of
week.
yes, third of fourth wedding I've attended this year. Um, but we have some news to get into. I just wanted to pepper in some basic witch because it is now full swing basic witch season.
And we'll get
We're gonna
back to that
do
later on because I
yes,
want to give like
we
a brief
will.
movie review.
Yes,
So,
we're going to do during basic witch season. I expect to have a lot of fall treats, a lot of fall movies. So just if you're into that, hang out with us. We'll talk a little bit about news, but really like we're here for the important topics like fall
yes.
treats.
Yeah,
But
that's really what we live for is a coffee, a little treat, a walk, and what else? Is there anything else?
that's to not be bothered, like for nobody to call me on my phone just to like to just doom scroll. I mean, that's really what we're living for here.
In the words of the great philosopher Fred Durst, your best bet is to stay away, mf'er. It's just one of those days. That's a quote that I just wanted to share with you. Very
But
profound. But
so first off, Conor McGregor, UFC fighter, back around St. Patrick's Day, and I think it was actually before St. Patrick's Day of this year. You can go back, go scroll through our shows, March 18th, 17th, 18th. We did a show where we discussed Conor McGregor, and we said that we wanted to go back to Ireland as Irish descendants of Ireland. And our ancestors hail from Ireland, or at least some of them do. And we were just advocating for Conor to run for president of Ireland. Like he needed to, like St. Patrick, banish all of the migrants from not all of the migrants, but like 90% of the migrants
most of
from
them,
most of them
let's be honest, most of
from
them.
Ireland. Really, just he needed to take back Ireland and he needed to run for office. And so we had said that he needed to do it. So, but it sounds like I mean, I'm just gonna go out on a ledge and say maybe Connor listened to the show. Like maybe this was something he was already thinking. Maybe he's a fan of the Re-Education Camp podcast. I mean, we never know who's listening, right? But
I think it
he,
influenced his decision for sure.
yeah,
I'd
I'm
be
sure.
willing to
I'm sure.
bet.
I think there's 20 people that tuned into that episode.
Well, that
And
was
I
one
like
of our older episodes, to be
and I
fair.
and I like to think that Connor was one of the ones that tuned into that, but it sounds like he's actually thrown his hat in the ring. I'm gonna pull up the show right now, actually, but you can so he it sounds like he's actually going to attempt to run for president, correct?
Well, he announced it on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and I have the tweet pulled up right here. I'm gonna read it. So he tweeted this out on September 5th at 8:52 a.m. Eastern time, and he said, "As president, I hold the power to summon the Doyle. I believe that's how you pronounce it. That's the lower house in Ireland, the Doyle. So, as president, I have the power to summon the Doyle as well as dissolve it. So, as I said before, I would have all the answers the people of Ireland seek from these thieves of the working man, these disruptors of the family unit, these destructors of small businesses, and on and on and on. These charlatans in their positions of power would be summoned to answer to the people of Ireland, and I would have it done by day end. Or I would be left with no choice but to dissolve the Doyle entirely. Stop the train until the people of Ireland deserve the answers they seek. Point blank, this would be my power as president. I know very well. Ireland needs an active president employed wholly by the people of Ireland. It is me. I am the only logical choice. 2025 is upcoming." And that, I guess, was his formal announcement on X announcing his candidacy for the president of Ireland. So there you have it.
I have to say that was a really impressive statement. And
It
I
was. It
did
was
pull it up
powerful.
5 months ago. We did a show for St. Patrick's Day, and it was "Will Conor McGregor save Ireland?" question mark. So you can go back and look at that. That was episode 22 of the Re-Education Camp podcast, and it also features a picture of Conor McGregor holding up the staff of St. Patrick. So we did have 57 views on that one. So hey, we are supporting Conor McGregor. And I have to say, I'm thinking like, you know how we have like all this talk about migrants voting in our election? I wonder if we can just illegally migrate to Ireland and just vote for Conor McGregor in
It
the
doesn't seem
2020.
like it really matters anymore if you're a
Yeah.
citizen of said country in order to vote. I think that we should give it a shot. I think that we should go over there and just show up at a polling place somewhere. I don't know, and just see what happens.
Yeah, there's got to be another Karen O'Toole in Ireland. Like, I'll just show
Oh,
up and be
I'm
like, "Well, I'm
sure.
Karen O'Toole. Like, should be registered." And they'll be like, "Okay."
I think that my grandmother, so this would be my mom's mom. Her mom, I think, came from County Cork, or maybe it was her grandmother
That's
that
like one of
came
the
from
most
there.
major counties. My husband and I were talking about visiting, so we've watched some videos and like you said, yeah. So well, we are in full support of Conor McGregor. We've said it early. I do want to just make like a joke real quick. Like obviously people, we are not 100 I mean like maybe I'm 10% serious in
Don't
Conor
speak for
McGregor.
me.
I don't but like I always love when like people like there's so many like narcissistic creators and influencers and pundits out there that they like want to take credit for everything. Like they're like, I said that Trump should nominate that person. I said that Trump should do this and he must have been listening to me and that was my idea first. There are so many people putting their opinions out online and talking and creating that there's really no way to decide who create it's like when you're the person that liked that band before they got popular. Like, okay, that's acceptable behavior when you're 16, but when you're 40, like, and you're getting paid millions of dollars, like, just shut your mouth. Who cares if you're the one who said it
Yeah,
first? Like,
maybe you were,
what?
maybe you
Yeah.
weren't. Does it really matter? Do you really need that to feel special or superior? Like you're some sort of seer or Svengali? Like get out of
Yeah.
town.
Yeah. It's just so I hate when people like we are not serious. Like, did Conor McGregor tune into our show? I mean, maybe he did.
Yes, he
Maybe
did. I'm
yes, he
saying
did.
that he definitively did. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I know that
Yeah.
actually because I
Yes.
am a seer, but I get what you're saying though. We're trying to
I
say that like you're not special. A lot of people
yes.
have echoed this
Yeah.
sentiment, so just shut up. Right?
Yeah, it's just annoying when it's like these people sitting in these like studios making millions of dollars doing these like stupid podcasts and like they don't do anything with their lives and like, hey, we want to be paid millions of dollars to sit around and do nothing too. But like they act like they're so important and newsflash, you're not. Like we're here to have a good time. And like as Colin and I have discussed, we had a thorough meeting before we'd record it, and we decided that if we were approached by Tenant Media, Lauren Chen and Tenant Media, and the Russian government, if they wanted to give us money, we would give them our bank account information immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, to get out of the matrix. Are you kidding me? I'll take the rubles, you know?
I'll take the
Um
rules. I like that. I wonder if that's how it was paid to Lauren Chen. Like, we can only send you rubles, we cannot send dollars.
I don't know. I don't know, but I heard that okay, so
I am
these
joking. I am
videos
joking. I would never take a dollar. Colin's like, I am not
I'm not
joking.
joking.
Please go.
I'm serious. I would absolutely accept foreign money. I would accept Qatar money. Is that how you say it?
Cutter. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cutter.
Qatar, Qatar. I would accept money from really just and just please. I don't want a regular 9 to 5 job, and I'm willing to compromise my morals and my. Not really. Um, what I was gonna say as far as this whole Russian media tenant media thing,
Pennagate.
I heard
Pennagate.
yeah I heard that these videos that they were asking, okay, so Lauren Chen, Tenant Media, they were asking certain people to create certain videos for them to put on the websites.
Okay.
Tim Pool and Dave Rubin, etc., so forth. By the way, this might not be 100% accurate. Just fair warning. We're just kind of shooting from the hip here. But the point being, the videos that were on Tennis Media site, I've heard that they've only gotten like a couple hundred. They weren't even getting that many views. These videos were not even getting that many views, only a couple hundred views on the Tenant Media website. Yet these people were getting like 100 grand a week or something crazy like that. Like,
Yeah, we only
so
get couple hundred views. So like, why are they not sending us hundreds of thousands of dollars? Like, come on. Like we
right.
we talked about how I was gonna write a letter to Putin when I was 14. Like, come on, Putin, like
Yeah.
come and give us some money. Like, why are you
In an
giving
older
Tim
episode.
Pool? I mean, I think that we're cuter than Tim Pool. Like, I think that we're
Absolutely.
Dave
Absolutely. I
Rubin
will
is pretty good looking, I will say. He's well groomed. He's very I won't say he's extremely good looking, but like I just saw him recently and I'm like, he does take care of himself really well. And listen, I don't think that Dave Rubin's eating pumpkin delights and having the pumpkin cold foam. He's watching his carb count. Okay. He's not lazy like me, he's focused. But Tim Pool, no. Tim Pool's not that cute. Like he's not. And who was the other one?
no.
Benny Johnson's kind of
Benny
good looking too.
Johnson. I can't even picture what Benny Johnson looks like, to be honest with you. He's
He's
just a
like,
screen name on X to me.
yeah, that's true. He is like a non-entity. Like I couldn't believe he was like a real person. He reminds me of that. Who is that? Ian Miles Chung or something? The
Ian
Filipino.
Miles Chong. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
He
Yeah. There's
like
all these
does
different characters on social media, and you just know them by their name. You can't even picture what they look like. They're just, like you said, faceless entities that apparently just post on
that
X
are
all
just on
day.
X like 24/7, like literally 24/7. You're seeing them post like nonstop. It's like the modern Drudge Report is how I
Yeah, in a
feel about.
way.
Like they're always the first ones to like put out videos. Everything's breaking all the time. It's like breaking. Trump just landed in Mar-a-Lago. And it's like, what? Like, he's there
How could
all the
everything be
time.
breaking? Like
Everything
everything is
is
not.
breaking. Like, go on X and like, you go on X for 5 minutes and you're ready to like drain your 401k and buy a bunker. Like,
It's
but
like breaking. My IBS is really acting up today. Breaking. Like, how could everything be breaking? It's
it is like
impossible.
if you go on X, you're about to like you within like 10 minutes, you're about to buy like a Tesla wall or whatever it is. What's the solar energy? It's like the solar energy battery that Tesla sells.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Okay. Well, you're ready to buy a Tesla. You're ready to go like off the grid, drain all of your money, put it in Bitcoin, probably protest Israel. Like if you're questioning whether or not they demolish the concentration camps. Like if you go on X for 5 minutes, your like whole head spins. Like I can't even and I'm just like
It's a
people
rabbit
just
hole.
yeah, you have to like you have to get off of it for a couple minutes. But like you said, there are like these weird, strange figures that are just like a little, you never see them in real life. Like Benny Johnson, I think has a
Kim.com.
show.
Do you know
Kim, yeah,
Kim.com?
yeah, yeah. It's all very bizarre. Like you
How
said,
do I
there's just,
be one of these faceless entities that does nothing but post on X all day and they don't have to work
yeah.
and
Do they
they've got
not make,
millions of
yeah,
dollars?
do they make a lot of money? I couldn't
It
do
doesn't
it.
seem
I
like
couldn't
anybody's
be
working. Like, I don't know anybody else that
to
has like a
us.
regular 9 to 5. I don't know one person that has like a regular nine to
Well,
five job.
yeah, I guess I don't have a regular 9 to 5. Like my job's a little weird, but yeah, like you said, like there are all these people like
It's like
if
everybody found a way out of it. Talk to a girl. You
Talk
see,
to
she's
her.
got a podcast now. It's called Talk to a. Have you seen that?
Yeah, we're gonna be on it. I booked us on the show. No, I'm
I'll go
kidding.
on it.
Yeah,
I,
you're
I
like,
would
I'll be
love to go
on.
on it.
Yeah. But
We should reach out to her,
you're
honestly.
right though. You're right that like everybody is like chronically online. And I just feel like at some point in time it's gonna come to a halt because like there's just gonna be so many people making content that like it's not even gonna be financially viable. Like there's only you're only gonna be making it's like YouTube. Like YouTube used the original creators. And don't get me wrong, like Mr. Beast still makes a lot of money like doing whatever I have never watched a Mr. Beast video and
Me neither.
I never will. Like I just
Me neither.
like
I
I
know who
got to
that
a point.
is, but
Yeah, yeah. And I just it's nothing against Mr. Beast. It's just nothing appealing in it of the slightest to me to watch his videos. And then I got to a point where I was like, I'm too lazy to even be curious. Like at this point, like it's too much energy to
I
even
I
give
want
a
to
crap.
I want to laugh at least, which is why I primarily watch videos from Nick Fuentes and the Tate brothers
Yes,
because at
yeah.
least they make me laugh.
Mhm,
There's
mhm.
always humor injected into their content.
And the
And
fabulous Fuentes, or Fuentes, the fabulous Fuentes made a comment about this whole DOJ Russia investigation of these influencers. And he said, well, okay, like if the DOJ is going to prosecute or go after people that have gotten foreign money from Russia, are we going to go after the people that get foreign money from Israel and all other countries? And I know some of this, I'm a pro Israel person. And I know I was speaking to somebody who's pro Israel and I read that sentiment to them and they said, absolutely. That's a completely, and I said, who said it? And they said, I don't really agree with some of the things he says. I'm not a big fan of his, but he's got a good point. He has a really, really good point there. So, like I said, I mean, we are not going to really criticize these people because we are also looking to be on the receiving end of foreign money. I don't think any of these people should be
correct.
prosecuted.
I,
Hey, respect the freaking hustle. Okay. That's what I would say to the DOJ. Like, if I was Lauren Chen, I would be like, so what do you want me to do? Do you want me to sell super beats or do you want me to freaking get money? Like, did you want me to sell CBD or did you want me to take money from Russia? Like, that was my two options. It was either I had to sell CBD, I had to hawk Blue Chew, or I had to take 10 million from Russia. And like that was I was in between the two and I was like, well, this is kind of easier.
I would choose taking money from a foreign country
Yeah.
over the latter two. Any foreign
Yeah.
country could be
Yeah.
Peru, could be Argentina. I don't care.
Does the DOJ appreciate how hard it is to update an ad read every week? Like, do they appreciate how hard it is to do personal endorsement and say that you drink those protein drinks that you're selling, that you're doing AG1? Like, do you know how hard that is?
I no, I don't think they have a clue.
Yeah,
But
they're just government workers. They have no idea how hard the hustle is. So you know what? I'm fully in support of Lauren Chen, who is also like a non-entity. Like she's also like one of those people that's just like there and you like know her face, but like you don't really know
I don't
like
even know her face. How about that? Like I knew the name as soon as I heard it. I'm like, okay, Lauren Chen. Yeah, I'm familiar
okay.
with her in conservative circles online, but I couldn't picture her for the life of me.
I couldn't picture her, but like once I saw her picture, for some reason I had seen one of her videos and was just like, okay, oh, great, whatever. Like, I think it was when her YouTube channel was shut down.
I
Our
have to pull up a
YouTube,
picture of her
now,
now.
now our YouTube channel is going to get shut down because we said we would take the phone.
Yeah, this might be a controversial episode, actually. Okay, so I just
Oh,
typed in Lauren
whatever.
Chen. Was she in Sports Illustrated?
No
No.
way.
Oh, whoops, I misspelled. Okay, so there's a model named Lauren Chen. Okay.
Hmm.
She looks like a plus size model. I'm looking for Lauren Chen. Okay, okay, here's Lauren Chen. You know what? She's kind of cute. She's kind of cute, actually.
Yeah.
I think I'm against like persecute. Like if you're kind of sort of cute, I give you a lot of leeway in terms of like different crimes that you're allowed to get away with. Honestly, like if she was a mountain troll or something like that, I'd be a
You're
little
like,
more
if this was
critical.
Ben Shapiro, I'd have a problem.
Oh, yeah, if it was Ben Shapiro, forget about it. He would be on a plane to Gitmo
We're like, Ben's
as we
already
speak.
taking foreign money. Like, when's the DOJ
I
investigation?
mean, let's let's be honest here. How much money does APAC give our elected officials? I mean, I'm of the mindset that I don't think any of our elected officials who are supposed to be representatives of us, the people, I don't think they should get a cent from any foreign country. I don't care who it is. I also
Yeah.
don't believe that they should be allowed to hold dual citizenship, but like
No.
how many of our elected officials are taking money from APAC and are also dual citizens of Israel? It's like why should any foreign state, foreign country have any amount of influence over our policy here in the United States, foreign and
Yeah, and
domestic
and
policy?
and as
And
far as that
obviously
goes
that country
too, yeah.
does.
Yeah, and that's kind of like where you see the right and the left aligned, kind of like the more populist too, about like not just the foreign governments, but also so many of the corporate these multinational corporations. It's just we
Absolutely.
all know, and it's just so disgusting, and we all kind of like see it and know it's happening.
And
But
we're just kind of like, oh well, this is how it
yeah,
is,
yeah, I
this is
might as
just
well
how
just
it
have my pumpkins
goes.
alight. Like, what am I gonna do about it?
Right.
But,
How such a defeatist attitude that we've all
that's
been
why I usually like, a lot of times, like, when I started voting, this might sound horrible to some people, but, like, many times I would just vote against the incumbents because I just
Mhm.
realized, like, unless they were, like, this was like somebody who had like a lot of money, but I'm like, I don't want you guys getting comfortable. Like that's kind of how I felt about
Right.
it. Like, you know what? Nah, I'm just gonna go vote again. I don't even care what party it is. I just was like, you've been in office for 20 years. It's time to go. Like, no, 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 no. We're
It
not
is
gonna have
wild how
this.
there's no term limits for Congress people and
Yeah.
people.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, I was looking for a photo not that long ago of Dianne Feinstein before she passed away. And like, if you looked at her, like, she looked like she was in a morgue. Like, she looked so awful. And I'm like, how is this woman like, how is everybody? I mean, Joe Biden, like, come on, people, like, wake up. Like, why are that generation? And it's not even the boomers, as I've described in the show in the past, white hairs. You can listen to some of our previous shows. The white hair is an amalgamation of like a segment of the boomers, but they're also the silent generation.
Like
Do
Biden.
not, I am, yes, I want you people to understand You need to stop attacking the boomers and get on board with the silent generation. Warren Buffett, Joe Biden,
Dick
Dianne
Cheney,
Feinstein, rest in peace. Dick Cheney. I'm
who
sure
recently
Donald Rumsfeld.
endorsed Kamala Harris. Did you see that?
I
Dick
did it.
Cheney.
Wow, really?
Oh yeah, yeah. So Kamala, I didn't mean to veer
No,
us
no,
off
no,
course
no.
here,
That's fine. That's what we
but
do here.
Kamala, however you want to say her name,
Oh, don't
she
even
has the
say.
endorsements now. She's got Dick Cheney's endorsement. She's got Mitt Romney's endorsement. She's got George W. Bush's endorsement. So it's like the parties have obviously swapped now, right? Like
Yeah.
the people who claim to be leftists and on the left, they used to be anti-war, they used to be anti-big pharma, anti corporate influence. Now it's like they've just given a loving, warm embrace to all of these scoundrels and crooks and thieves because they are not Donald John Trump. They are not the host of The Apprentice. All that matters is that you are not the host of The Apprentice.
That is unbelievable. And like I just keep trying to understand, do they want him elected? Like having Dick Cheney should just shut his mouth, because like when I
Right.
hear Dick Cheney is endorsing her, that makes me want to vote for the opposite. Like
Exactly.
every time it's like that line in The Godfather. It's like every time I think I'm out, they reel me back in. They pull me back in. And that's how I feel about Trump. Like every time I'm like, you know what? He's a narcissistic, egomaniac, malignant, megalomaniac. And then it's like George W. Bush and Dick Cheney are endorsing Kamala. I'm like, I guess I
Yeah,
got to vote
like
for Trump. Like, what am
literal
I supposed to
literal
do?
war criminals
Yeah, right.
are endorsing Kamala, yet that's the position of the left, the new left. Left, right. What do these terms even mean anymore? Do they even have a meaning
No,
anymore? Left, right,
no,
conservative,
no.
liberal? Because I always considered myself like sort of a I don't know, traditional liberal, a classical liberal. You believe in the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, due
Yeah.
process, etc., and so forth. But it doesn't seem to be that way
Well, no,
anymore.
okay. So, Colin, you're actually a conservative socialist. Let's be real.
I guess I
Colin
guess
wants
yeah, like
all
a
of you to work. He wants everybody to work except for he gets to benefit from your work. He wants we have
correct.
this is a new ideology that Colin and I have established, where we, the people that don't want to work, we will live we're capitalist socialists. So we believe that the people that want to work can work, and that the people that like us don't feel like we feel like doom scrolling. We just benefit from the people that want to work. And I mean, I think that's a
Right.
perfect.
Like people need to be at work, okay? I just don't think that I'm really like you trust me, you don't want me involved in your work or your society. Really, you don't want me involved. But I still want to have I want to maintain my same quality of life. I want to have a nice house. I want to have nice things and be able to buy things that I
We
want and
still
go
want
on
free
vacations.
markets. We want free markets. It's just,
Correct.
yeah.
Not just you. I need you people to go out and kind of, hold up the load, so to speak. Believe me, you don't want me holding it up. It's just I
No,
shouldn't be
no.
involved, okay?
It's trivial
I
for you. Yes, yes.
correct. I just want
You
to wake
should
up.
be you should be a philosopher king. That should be
Yes.
just hang out
Just
with
let me
Shadow.
wake up at my leisure. I'm not, this alarm clock BS and this like when you have like a regular, if you're a wagey or a brokey, as the Tate brothers would say, it's not like you can even really get a sound sleep at night because all you're
No.
thinking about is, oh my God, I have to wake up at such and such time and I've got a Teams meeting with this person. There's no rest, there's no sleep, there's no relaxation. So I want to I don't want to be a part of that whole system, but I recognize it still needs to exist in some form.
Yes, yes. It rules for V, not for Colin.
Correct.
Conservative socialism.
Yes, I'm a conservative social, and I think that we did coin that phrase actually
Uh-oh,
on
yeah,
this.
we just, speaking of taking credit for things, we think that somebody on Reddit might have said it first, but
I think I came up with the term and brought it up on an old episode of
okay,
this
okay.
podcast. I want one of our loyal listeners to go and scour the archives, listen to everything we've said, all the nonsense and everything we've said on these however many episodes. What are we up to 35 now? I don't even know
I
how
think
many
this is
episodes
the
we've recorded.
36th episode. Somebody that's allowed to listen, who gets their controlled listening time, they're allowed out of the pad itself for 2 hours, and they get screen privileges. They can go, because I imagine that's who's listening. That's like the only
I
person
hope
that
so.
would want to listen to
I hope that's our audience, quite frankly.
but you brought up something though, Dick Cheney. I don't know if you brought up Donald Rumsfeld. I like the idea of
You
thinking.
brought up Rumsfeld, I brought up
Okay.
Cheney.
So Dick Cheney, my brother was over this weekend. 16 years old. He was born in 2008. We are 18 years apart. He was born, sorry, I've got a little tickle in my throat. He was born when I was a freshman in college. I was going to University of Alabama at the time. And this week is going to be the anniversary of September 11th. It's the 23rd anniversary. And he brought up the topic of 9/11. And it occurred to me, like, he has always lived in a post 9/11 world. And I thought that this was just such a fascinating concept. I have another little brother. These are all my siblings. If you haven't listened to the show before, I'm one of 8. No stepchildren, no half children, all my brothers and sisters. And so my one brother was born post 9/11. I have 3 siblings that were born post 9/11. And so my little brother was talking to us about 9/11. We watched a documentary last night about it while he stayed over. And so we were just talking to him about what happened that day and like what we experienced. So my husband was telling him how he was in school. I was homeschooled that year, and I watched it on television live in my aunt's house. I wasn't at home. But my husband was telling him how they put it on the television at the school. And he was like, "Oh, wow, like they put it on TV, like the teachers like were showing you all of that happened." And
Oh
we
yeah.
kind of just thought to ourselves like, "Well, yeah, like it was, nobody really understood. It was just really confusing." And my husband said, "Well, I guess the teachers kind of wanted to see it for themselves, what was happening." And my little brother said this. He said they couldn't just watch it on their phones.
Ha.
I know, I know. And like I said, like it really hit me how much the world has changed since that day, since 2001, the rate of technology. And like I said, like these kids in high school now, my brother, people entering the workforce, they have always lived in a post 9/11 world. They don't know about pre and post 9/11. And
They don't know how good we used to have it
yeah, they
back
don't.
back in the
That's why.
day.
Well, my little brother said, he goes, that day changed the world. It changed history. And I said, absolutely. I
Sure
said,
did.
things were different before then. And I just thought it was such an interesting concept that there are kids out there. There are not even just kids, there are adults. My one brother is 22 years old, and he was born after a year after 9/11. So all he's ever known was this. And even though we were young, I was 11 years old in 6th grade when it happened. But last night, as we were watching the documentary, it feels so matter of fact now. Like, you just talk
It
about 9/11.
does.
And this is not a conversation on like, was whatever you think what happened, whether you think that Donald Rumsfeld knew about it, Dick Cheney knew about it, whether you think that there was a controlled demolition, whether you think the
Direct energy
yeah,
weapons. I've
whether
heard
you
that
believe
theory.
everything the 9/11 commission says, it doesn't really matter what you believe unless you literally believe that the towers didn't fall, which I'm pretty sure we can all agree the towers fell.
That's
That
the
those
one thing
videos are,
everybody
I think everybody
universally. can agree that those buildings
universally,
did come down.
they did
Those
collapse.
3 buildings, by the
Yes,
way.
yes.
There were
And,
3 towers.
but, uh, but yes, we were watching the documentary last night about 9/11, and it was like as it happened, like minute by minute, and it was like playing the air traffic control conversations. And I was watching, they had the ground footage as you start to see the towers collapse. And even though I watched this live when I was 11, I have seen it a million times. It's been so long since I just like sat. It's like I hate to compare it to this, but like, have you ever watched like a movie and you know the movie? So it's like Christmas when you watch a Christmas movie and like you go to put on a Christmas Carol and you're like, I've seen this
Po
so many times. I know all the
Podcaster
lines.
compares 9/11 to Christmas morning. That's gonna be the headline after
Yeah,
this.
exactly. But I think you understand what I'm saying. Like, we're not really comparing, but it's like it's something that you've seen the images so many times, you know the
Yeah.
story so well, uh, that like it doesn't even affect you anymore.
No, it's not
But
even
it's
shocking,
yeah,
like, the image
yeah,
of the 2 buildings burning, it's like,
yeah, yeah.
that
But
we grew up with that.
yeah, but when I was sitting there watching, it's been so long since I really watched the ground footage and the people like starting to freak out as they're watching the towers collapse, and the news coverage where they're like the second plane has just hit a building, and the guy's like the newscaster from New York, the Good Day New York, is like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, like he doesn't even know what to say, he's lost for words. And I just was sitting there, I was just like taken aback because I think I realized like any moment an event like that could just take place again. I have a brother who works right outside of New York City in a first responder kind of capacity, and I was thinking to myself like, wow, like he would have been called in that day if that would have been if that would happen today. And I was just sitting there watching it last night thinking to myself like, wow, like in any given moment, like an event like that could just unfold again. And just remembering how confusing it was, how chaotic it was. And like I said, I think that we're so far removed from it now. It's just become part of our psyche. It's just become part of our understanding of the world. And like you said, they've always lived in a post 9/11 world. We've really had, and I have a grandmother who's still alive who I lived with for a time who, hey, she lived through, she didn't really suffer through it. My grandfather literally ate toothpaste during the Great Depression. He enlisted at 17 during World War II. My grandmother has told me about Pearl Harbor. Like I understand. Like I don't get me wrong. Like I get that this isn't the first time in human history that we've had events like this take place. But really on our own soil in America, we've been pretty blessed to not have any real attacks. I mean, when you think about England, you think about France, you think about Germany, you think about that history in the West. Like you think about the Battle of Britain and going in the London Underground, and like
Mhm.
really the homeland, the home front being attacked. That was really, I mean, Pearl Harbor, Hawaii is not New York City. It's not the
No.
Pentagon. And like I said, I think that we have always, you do need to understand and acknowledge that 9/11 was a day. From that day on, we have not lived the same level of comfort as
There was no
America.
normalcy
There was
after
no
that, just to put it a
normal.
little
It was the
more
end, yeah,
bluntly.
like, and I feel like year by year, like then we see COVID and everything has felt so chaotic and confusing
And I view
since
COVID, by the
COVID.
way, I always say that that was a medical 9/11 that they pulled off. I remember actually, I think I've told you this. I get a lot of my best thinking done when I'm at the sink doing dishes. When I'm
Yes.
around running water, I do a lot of deep thinking. And I remember
That's the only
shortly.
time you're not doom scrolling, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's the only time I'm not doom scrolling is when I'm like washing dishes at the sink. But I remember thinking like shortly before COVID, I was in my apartment, I was doing dishes, and I was thinking about 9/11 and how basically everything that we've been talking about here. I was thinking about
Yeah.
how everything changed. And I was thinking to myself, like, boy, I mean, it seems like we're due for another
Mm.
world-changing event, because it's been like 20 years now since 9/11. And then shortly after that, COVID hit. And I remember thinking a couple days into COVID, I was already over the disinfecting your groceries and all that. And I was like, it hit me like, oh, this is a medical 9/11 that they're pulling off. This is another layer to the surveillance state, the global security apparatus. Like they're taking us deeper into this on another level. But that's just a little side anecdote I
Just
kind
a
of
little
wanted
bit
to
more
share with
fun
you.
for your day, right? Just like, oh,
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, yeah. But like you said, it's some of these kids, like that's just all they've ever known. Like they've never, and I don't, they also don't comprehend, like my brother said, like, oh, the world changed, but to actually like experience the other side, like before that, and just that concept. And we were
Yeah.
young, like we didn't even really understand or appreciate, and not appreciate in the sense of like feeling grateful, but appreciate and completely grasp just how different the world was going to be after
But
that. And
by the way, as it pertains to this upcoming election, I just had the thought. I wonder how many. I feel like the majority of Trump supporters have to be individuals who knew a pre 9/11 America, because I feel like a lot of people, including myself to a certain extent, associate a Trump presidency with a time, like it harkens back to a time that was more normal, because when you think about it, Trump, he's not really far right, especially now.
no,
He's
no.
like a 90s Democrat
Yeah.
essentially. That's what
Yeah.
Donald
Oh
Trump is.
yeah.
That's what he's running as. He's running as a 90s Democrat. And I feel like the majority of
That's a
his
good take.
supporters, they've got to be people who have experienced pre 9/11 life, because they think like, yeah, I'm voting for Trump, he's not perfect, but I want things to be, kind of, I know they could never be 100% the way that they were, but I want things to go back a little bit to, the comfortable life, the normal life that I was used to, pre 9/11. Just a thought that I had.
No, that's it. That is a good point. It's pretty wild that a vote for Donald Trump is a vote for normalcy. Like I
I
feel
mean, I think
like,
so. I,
but
I
I
have a
think,
lot of
but
criticisms, but
yeah, but I do think that you're right, because he has really tried to distance himself from some of the like far right or just the very staunch conservative beliefs. And I know some people don't agree with that, and some people are critical of that. And some people welcome it. They think, okay, this is a general election for the general population. Like you need to kind of let go of some of this. And there is definitely a faction of the right that is I've been seeing some memes from the left, and I kind of agree with them. Like that doesn't feel like freedom. Like some of the things that these like far right people believe, I'm like, hey, like we're not going to like force everybody to go to church. Like, can you calm the hell down?
you're
Like, you
right.
know
It's
what I mean? Like, I don't want to
impossible.
live in a world where we're forcing people to go to church. Like, and these staunch conservatives are like, they're so worried about other people's sins, and they're not worried about their own sins. And like number one, that is the number one problem probably with our entire country, okay, is that the people that are supposed to be God's people are more worried about what Kamala Harris is doing than they are worried about like the sin in their own lives. And like I
Right.
know this happens every week. I go off on a theological conversation.
We're,
We're
we're
gonna
gonna try not to
avoid
get
that.
too.
We're gonna try to get more basic witch right now so that to stop me
Well,
from getting religious on people. But because really you said that you have, because we've talked about 9/11, we've talked about Russia, we've talked about all of these important issues, but you were saying that you have a horror film that you wanted to recommend. We got to get into that before
oh
we
yeah,
wrap
no, I
up.
was just
Colin
thinking like
has big
before.
dinner plans tonight, so I want to make sure we're
Yeah.
on time, okay? He's
Oh,
so
listen,
important.
I'm going over to my folks' house later, for a nice scallop dinner,
There's
lovingly prepared by my mother.
there's got to be
So
some woman out there that is like, this guy owns a home. he has a cat named Shadow, and he's going to hang out with his parents. Like, he respects his mother. Come
And
on.
he's like not unpleasant to look at either, you know, like generally speaking, you know, he's a pleasant looking individual, well groomed, takes care of himself, you
Yeah,
know,
come
has
on,
nice teeth,
ladies.
like
Yeah.
get with the program here. But no, I watched my favorite part of basic witch season,
Okay.
Halloween season, the fall, whatever you want to call it, is it's like an excuse to go back and to what and to sit down, relax, watch some old horror movies. I'm a big fan of the horror slash suspense slash uh spooky movie
You're
genre.
right. And that's like a pre 9/11 thing too. But go ahead. Yeah.
It
I
is a
think,
pre
yes,
9/11.
it is a pre
Totally.
9/11, right? You're like, let's go back and watch Hocus Pocus. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Let's go down to our local video store. Remember that when you used to
Mm.
go to
Can we just, as we're talking about this, I was saying this to my husband, like we did watch like some kind of stupid Disney like Halloween Town the other night. I think I was texting you. And
yeah, you were.
I'd never seen it. The movie is horrible. It's super corny.
I bet.
But we've watched Are You Afraid of the Dark a lot,
I
and
love Are You Afraid of the Dark?
they were so good in the 90s at like creating these like town aesthetics. Like these like I
Yes.
literally want to live in like a Nickelodeon Disney Channel 1990s town. Like that's all I want. Like that is
Right?
my AI. When like Elon Musk is using our energy as like power source for his like electrical world or
Yeah. When
whatever.
we're in the
When
pods,
I'm in the
like
pod, like in the
naked in a tub of
Matrix,
goo with our
yes.
brains like, you know, connected.
Yes. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
like, "Can you please, like, put me in a 1990s, like, fictional Disney Channel town?" Because those, like, backdrops they made were so like, I'm not a big fan of the movie Hocus Pocus, but the scene it was shot partially in Salem, and the aesthetics of the town are just phenomenal. So, okay, sorry. I just wanted to say that real quick. I'm
No.
sure if you're
I'm
listening and you grew up in that era, you completely get what I'm saying. Like, it's just like the Pete and Pete, like all those little cute towns that like only exist
yes.
in the figments of our imagination. But go
Even in
ahead.
the animated series like Doug, like Bluffington, I'd love to live in
Yes.
Bluffington and go to the
Yeah.
Honker Burger for a shake with Skeeter Valentine. I mean, yeah, I miss that. We need to be
Yes.
transported into that fictional reality. But are you familiar with the movie The Conjuring, the first one from 2013?
Yes, yeah, I do think I do know that one. Yes. Is that when like the house they move in the house and it's haunted or
Yes, so
okay,
it is a I would consider it part of the haunted house genre
nice.
of horror movies, and it's based on real people, Ed and Lorraine Warren, who were real demonologists who did go out on cases, and I think Lorraine, the old woman, actually passed away fairly recently. But it occurred to me as I was watching this movie last night. First of all, great movie directed by James Wan, who did Insidious, the first Saw movie. Really a director with great taste, great aesthetics. But the movie, it occurred to me, this is not so much as a horror movie as it is a love story. Like, it's not about ghosts, it's not about demons and witches and warlocks. This is a love story about the bond between these two people, Ed and Lorraine Warren, and it's like very pro Catholic, it's very pro Christian. Like the whole movie is like just very pro family, the family unit, and it's about like how these two people, like God brought them together to help free these people from oppressive forces. Go back and watch the first Conjuring from
Okay.
2013 and let me know if you agree with me. This isn't a horror movie. This is like one of the most pure love stories that has ever been shown on screen. And I think both actors are great in this. Vera Farmiga plays Lorraine Warren, and oh, what's his name? Patrick Wilson plays the husband, Ed. They just have such a good chemistry on screen and such a good dynamic. And it's just a very pro Christian, pro God, pro family unit, pro traditional values. It's a love story. That's what this movie is, and I'm gonna watch the second one tonight.
Yeah, from what I recall, Insidious and The Conjuring were both really good because I tend to be more of a thriller fan, and they were good. Like they were good at presenting that. I'm not a huge fan of gore, like unless it's like a fun slasher. But I feel like I'm not really a big what's that guy's name? Rob Zombie. Like I'm not really
Oh,
into his.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean I can kind of understand like what's the I kind of like the
House of a
one.
Thousand Corpses and
No, but he made the one that was like actually the
Halloween
something.
is
No,
Halloween.
the rejects or
Devil's
something. The
Rejects.
Devil's Rejects. That one was okay. Like it was kind of fun. Sometimes I just appreciate them for like what they are. Like I know they're gonna be like silly and he's gonna cast his wife as like the main character. And I can get down with that. Like I'm like, okay, like if I know what I'm getting in myself, I kind of appreciate it now more because I could just sit back and like make fun of it and be like, it's like silly to me. But like you said, I like the Insidious and the Conjuring films were on the better side of some of the newer horror flicks that are out there because some of them are just not they're just not well done. But those ones, like you said, were very well done movies. I think that of the new era of horror films, I would
Yes.
say on the good side.
And
But
like I said, very,
yeah.
very pro family, very pro marriage. And it's like I'm watching this movie and it like made me long for like it's like that's the kind of marriage I want. I want to be a demonologist and I want my wife to be a seer and I want us to go out and have like these adventures and like go into haunted house. It like made me really long for that. Then it kind of brought
Well,
a
we
tear to
we
my eye.
already established that you are a seer. That you
Well,
like
yeah, I
Connor
am.
McGregor. Yeah. So maybe
I've
you need to
got
find the demonologist.
Yeah, maybe it's the other way around. My mom might be a seer for real. I'm not even joking. But
Oh, we'll have to. Well, we have plenty of basic witch episodes to get into. We can talk a little bit about that. So
oh, the season is
much to
young,
look forward. The
Karen. It's
season
it's
is
only
young. It's only September 8th,
September the 8th. Yeah, you're right. So we have got
which September the 8th, we need to dive into some horoscopes for I love how like I always like I like try to like put in all this like I'm like you need to pray and blah 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 and then I'm like okay let's read the horoscopes.
yeah, let's get into the witchcraft
I
and the
don't as I the disclaimer I make every week is that this is for fun, which is always how it starts.
pretty soon it's gonna be like, okay, Karen, whip out the Ouija board. Here we go. We're gonna do a live stream
Crazy.
seance on
I will
air.
not. I'm afraid of that. I always refuse to participate in any of that when I was like at slumber
Oh,
parties.
I would never. I've seen too many movies.
I've seen, yeah, not okay with that. So, are we going to start with Trump or are we going to start with Kamala?
Let's do Trump's first. Let's do his first.
Okay, so Donald John Trump is a Gemini. So for today, we have on September the 8th. This is according to the New York Post, Sally Brompton. You could find yourself under some serious pressure this week from people whose authority is greater than your own. Be smart and take a step back rather than a step forward. Because if there is a confrontation, you will almost certainly be the loser.
Oh, there's a debate coming up.
Ooh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
That's on the 10th, I think.
Yes, on the 10th. Yeah.
That's Tuesday, right? Yeah,
Yes,
Tuesday
Tuesday.
night debate night.
Yes.
Uh-oh. Hmm. Well,
All right.
let's read
Well,
Kamala's.
Kamala's, here we go. So she is a Libra. It says, you appear calm on the surface, but deep down, you are raging about some sort of injustice. Hopefully, you will be sensible enough to realize that allowing yourself to get angry is not the answer. How can you improve the situation in practical ways? That one was
Hmm.
boring, but the other one was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trump's was more interesting. It made you think more, especially given the debate is this Tuesday. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll see what happens. Did you see that? I don't know if you're familiar. Well, of course you're familiar with Nate Silver. His
Yes.
what's his
Yeah.
website?
The 538.
Yeah. He has Trump in the lead currently. for what it's worth. And I'm pretty sure he's associated with ABC, so he's more liberal leaning. But
Yes, but didn't he? Was he real quick since we're talking about it? Nate Silver, August. So Politico ran an article that said, "Don't trust the election forecast. The data doesn't support the obsession with presidential prognostications," according to Politico. They just came out with this article.
well,
Yeah. Well, the point is,
in any case,
it says okay. It says so. It does say see ABC News' 538, The Economist, and Silver Bulletin, among others. Who, I mean, really, who cares? I mean, like, we should really just ask one of these basic witches online. I'm gonna start every time I see somebody on my Facebook,
go
every
ahead.
time I see one of these basic witches telling me about their tarot card readings, I'm gonna be like, can you please tell me who's gonna win the election?
Yeah, please let us know in
Yeah,
advance.
like, I don't really care if I'm gonna, like, ever make $1 million. Like, I just want to know if it's gonna be Kamala or it's gonna be Trump, because Colin and I tried to predict who was going to be the Democratic nominee, and we got that wrong.
Yeah,
So
we failed.
we did not read the tea leaves correctly on that
No.
one.
The only thing we
So,
predicted was Connor running for president of
yes.
Ireland. That was it. That's the only thing we've gotten right so far in the history of this podcast. And so I feel like personally I feel more invested in the upcoming Ireland election than I do in the United States
Yes,
presidential election,
yeah, me
quite
too.
frankly.
I
So
agree. Yeah, I think
I
that
feel like
that's
there's more weighing on that than there is,
yeah, like
I mean,
Nate
this country's a
Silver.
lost
Yeah.
cause.
538 needs to follow the Irish election
Yeah.
polls.
Yeah, that's the country and the election that I'm invested in at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah. Like, I
So
mean, like I said, people are like super into like baseball and football and like fantasy football. We should come up with a company that is fantasy politics,
honestly,
and you
like,
can
yeah,
draft like different fake elections
yeah,
and
why
like
aren't people
like
getting together? Like, people have their little fantasy football clubs and everything. It's like, how about a fantasy politics club
yes,
where we
yeah.
do that?
Yeah, I like it. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Well, that and I think that people probably there's a lot of betting that goes on right now, because people are like, if there wasn't enough kratom in the gas stations for you to get hooked on, you now you now can get addicted to online gambling. So there's like, it's no, it's like really really bad. Like the DraftKings, like, you see this. Sorry, they're never going to advertise on the show. I'm apologize to you ahead of time, Colin, because I'm probably going to trash them so much that they'll never make a dime. They'll never approach us to advertise. But
I'd
you look
rather
really
advertise
upset.
for a kratom company. I'm pro kratom, Karen. I'm sorry. Like, I think kratom is a
I
leaf found in Southeast Asia, and it can
I've
have.
heard, yeah, I've heard. I don't really know that much about it. I just see it everywhere. I just don't understand like, what is this? It's everywhere. Like,
I
every
wouldn't
time
get
I
it from
go
a
in.
gas station.
Oh,
I would
it's
I would find
trust
a
me.
reputable source. I wouldn't go to like your local Sunco and like pick up some kratom pills. Sunoco, excuse me, and pick up some kratom
You
pills.
should come visit the coal region of Pennsylvania.
No.
And
I'm already heading that out. No, that's all right.
you're like, no, definitely not. We have like more gas stations that sell kratom than I would say bars at this point in time. I think a lot of the bars have closed, and now we just exclusively are selling like heroin, fentanyl, and kratom. Like,
Right.
that's the thing to do around here, you
As
know.
it should
That's,
be.
yeah, as it should be. Yeah. So much to
Okay.
come in the next couple weeks. Like you said, we're gonna have some. I've got a lot of like wedding stuff going on, but Colin and I are gonna make sure that we are rearranging our recording dates, and we are going to be back with so much basic witchery.
I've got a lot
Um,
more movies to talk
yes,
about. We have a
yeah.
lot more thoughts about this
I
ridiculous election.
Yeah, I think like every week maybe I'll mention like a new fall treat, because that's kind of my thing, is like the little treats. I'm a pro little
Yes.
treat person.
Yes,
If I
Queen.
ran, yeah, yeah. If I was Kamala Harris, like, I would just be up there and be like, you know what? With this economy, we're all gonna get free treats. We're all gonna
Yeah.
get free little treats.
I might vote for her then, you know?
If she was like, I was thinking about it, and I think every Thursday people want a free Starbucks. So that's what we're gonna do. And she'd be like,
You have
everybody
her
like,
cadence down pretty
"Yay."
well. That's a good
That is pretty much
Kamala
her cadence.
cadence.
That is, yeah. I've listened to a lot of Kamala clips, and like I think that that's pretty much how she talks. I'm pretty much sure I got it down. But that Melania, I did a pretty good Melania a couple weeks ago. I was pretty proud of. But
Yeah, I'm a big
Kamala,
Melania
yeah.
fan,
I know we are
as
big,
we all
big.
are.
Yeah. Yes, we are. Colin and I have very similar taste in women. We've decided that we
Yes,
typically
it's like so. It's like I feel like 90% of like the texting conversation between me and Karen, it's like talking about different women that we find attractive, rating women. Like it's like
sometimes men.
yeah,
Andrew
sometimes
Tate's
men. Yeah,
brother. Yeah,
yeah. Oh
sometimes.
yeah,
Usually
he's a
women,
handsome
but
dude.
he is. He's a really, I was like taken aback when we put him on the show. But
Yeah.
anyhow, a lot of basic witchery I can't talk about today, but I would love to talk about this Faces of Horror thing. I don't know if you've seen this on your Facebook, but that'll come up next week. We'll talk about it next week. So
Okay.
that is to come, people. More horoscopes. We'll be talking about the debate in a very serious, like, obviously, we are going to get into the nitty gritty of all the topics like we usually do. That is sarcasm, if you are not sure. And we will be back. So enjoy. I hope you get your decorations up, maybe get yourself a little pumpkin tree.
Little
And,
treat.
like I said, definitely Little Debbie should advertise on the show because we love our little pumpkin smiles. She's killing it there. But, all right. Well, I just dropped the
I'm
pumpkins.
probably gonna stop at Publix on the way home, by the way, today, and like
Nice.
pick up some poison pumpkin Halloween treats. And
Excellent. Yeah.
even though I'm trying to lose weight, but you showed me those little Debbie's,
I'm
so
sorry. I just threw you off. I'm like such a bad,
yeah, you already threw me off
bad.
start of the week. But hey, listen, we thank you for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube, give us a like, follow us on X, and we'll see you right here next week for more fun on the Re-Education Camp podcast. See you then.